Hi, it's Frostfire here. So in 2023, I want lighting that syncs with my TV's display, works with the latest gen consoles, tailored to my TV's size, and is compatible with 8K. And Lytmi's latest, the Fantasy 3 kit, not only does this, but is the first ever sync box that supports 4K at 120 and 8K at 60 via HDMI 2.1. But is it the best TV sync box? To answer this, we'll unbox, set it up, discuss the pros and cons, and compare it with Govee's latest AI gaming sync box.
So first off, let's get this 8K TV backlighting kit unboxed. Inside, we have the user manual. Next, the brains of the setup, the Lytmi Neo 3 sync box that supports HDMI 2.1. An AC brick to power the entire kit. Underneath, we have these 10 mounting clips for holding the corner sections in place. An 8K compatible ultra high speed HDMI cable. And finally, the LED light strip, which will go on the back of the TV. So before fixing the strip lights to the back of the TV, it's best to wipe the area clean. Next, simply unravel the RGB strip lights, peel off the 3M tape paper, and stick each section to the rear of the TV. Lytmi recommends you stick each strip 3 cm away from the edges for the 75 to 80 inch version. And what's great is the corners have these bendy pieces, making it really easy and clean to install, compared to my old LifeX light strips, which had a difficult time handling corners. You could also see the lights from a side viewing angle, which was distracting. In contrast, the new Lytmi light strips are nicely hidden from all angles. Once the LEDs are installed, connect your devices to the sync box via HDMI and the strip lights via USB-C, and use the provided 8K HDMI cable to connect from the TV out to the TV's HDMI in. Connect and power on the sync box, TV, and connected device. In my case, it's the PS5. Check if all the lights are on and they match the colors on the screen, and once you've run through the Lytmi home app setup, you're good to go. And here it is, we've got the light strips installed, the sync box connected, and we're ready to test it out. As mentioned, this setup is compatible with the latest gen consoles, and even with just a static image, you can already see how well the colors match what's on screen. When moving between screens, you can also see how quickly the color changes with what looks like zero delay. Now within the app there are 3 different modes: Sync, Music, and Scene. The main mode, Sync, gives you 3 presets: Video, Recreation, and Game,
which in terms of reaction speed translates to slow, medium, and fast.
For best results while gaming in game mode, Lytmi recommends diffusion or color intensity levels at 60%. In Horizon, this beautiful shoreline with a campfire provides a good way to showcase this feature. At 0%, there's no effect at all, and at 100%, the diffusion's acute reaction is a little overwhelming. In this particular case, I like it at the recommended 60%.
But of course, it's down to personal preference.
Now, this particular size kit is designed for TVs between 75 and 80 inches. They also do other ranges, but overall they cover anywhere between 55 and 90 inches. Each HDMI 2.1 port is capable of supporting bandwidths of up to 48 megabits per second, which is great for playing games where the colors are changing quickly, and also work well when doing a slow pan in a beautiful environment. This is because the lighting algorithm picks out the best colors and combines them to accurately sync with the TV's display. Now, although HDR is technically supported on the PS5, some colors, like red, don't match accurately when HDR is enabled, and instead we get this orangey shade. Let's hope we get a firmware update in the not too distant future to fix this issue. Dolby Vision, which is HDR's equivalent on the Xbox Series X, does work with the Lytmi Fantasy 3, and there have been no issues reported with color matching there. Some exceptions are the C9, C2, and E6 from LG, which are currently unsupported.
To conveniently use
The PS5's HDR, VRR, and ALLM features, I picked up a HDMI splitter. In Mode 1, the cable is routed via the Lytmi box to use the sync lights. And in Mode 2, the cable is routed to the TV to take advantage of these features. While in Mode 2, you can't use the synced lights, but you can use a static color. VRR is currently unsupported, which means your refresh rate won't fluctuate in real time. ALLM or Auto Low Latency mode is also not supported. I've experienced no drop in performance while funneling the HDMI signal through the Lytmi sync box. And due to the groundbreaking tech within, it makes for a highly immersive experience. Another unique feature is the ability to turn off the light beads entirely in black areas, which does help to give an extra layer of immersion. This is most noticeable when playing games with a lot of dark environments, or watching horror movies and TV series with a lot of dark scenes. The obvious downside is that it can negate the benefits of biased lighting and end up causing eye fatigue. So having the ability to alternate with a dimmed white color would be beneficial. Now the Lytmi Fantasy 3 offers up to 4K at 120 FPS, which is good for games like God of War Ragnarok, Apex Legends, and Modern Warfare 2. But unfortunately, there are still 0 games that run native 8K at 60 FPS on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. However, this Samsung 8K Neo QLED TV does have impressive 4K upscaling to 8K, so it's pretty close. And when it comes to movies and streamable content, it's a similar story. Over the last few years, many movies like Spider-Man Far From Home and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 been filmed using 8K cameras. But these have been released in 4K since it's the highest quality that most people are watching. That said, the Lytmi strip lights work great with 4K movies and TV shows that are upscaled to 8K. Now all of your usual streaming apps like Netflix, Prime and Disney Plus work perfectly. Just make sure these apps are connected via the Lytmi sync box, as you won't be able to use them natively with the lights. This is also relevant to CEC, as you won't be able to use your single TV remote to control all of your connected devices, as the sync box still needs to be controlled via the app. It is easy, however, switching HDMI ports. The app also gives a handy indicator as to which HDMI slots are connected and powered on, which works great if you're switching between gaming consoles like the Nintendo Switch. This can also be done via a button on the sync box. The sync box also allows any device that has a HDMI output to run it via the sync box, allowing your laptop, Apple TV or Blu-ray player to take advantage of the tech. The light strips feature 72 LEDs per meter for brighter and more vibrant colors. The other good thing is that there's no external camera, so it's not going to be affected by any other lights in the room. All the corners of the TV are color matched so that you can enjoy a perfectly synchronized immersive experience. Now, depending on whether you applied your light strip from the bottom left or right, you will need to select the installed method in the Lytmi Home app. Check the red, green and blue colors match on the strip lights to ensure it's reflected correctly. The other handy feature is TV synchronization, which when toggled on, allows the backlight to turn on and off with the TV. Around the back we have 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, which is very handy, and 1 HDMI out to connect to your TV, an AC adapter to power the box, and on the side we have a USB-C port for connecting up to the light strips, which is aesthetically awkward but counted when housed in a TV cabinet. The TV USB port was originally meant for power, but Lytmi changed direction so this can be ignored. One thing to note is that the HDMI slots do not support ARC or eARC, so you may need to route through a soundbar or something similar. With the Lytmi app you can apply static colors for the whole strip, and applying effects like this one that simulates a fireplace. However, you can't currently customize color segments, which is even a feature on my old LifeX light strips.
The Lytmi Fantasy 3
works with Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant,
and Samsung SmartThings.
Before setup, make sure you've added the Neo 3 sync box in the Lytmi Home app. Download your chosen app, use Smart Life to link to your Lytmi Home account, finalize your setup, and you're able to use voice commands to control your lights. So most of what you've seen today works straight out of the box, providing ambient lighting that color syncs with the display without the need for an external camera. But how does it stack up against Govee's latest AI gaming sync box, which was recently released for larger TV displays? HDMI 2.0 and 4K at 60 FPS on the Govee AI box doesn't compete with HDMI 2.1 and 4K at 120 FPS on the Fantasy 3. And even though the Govee does have higher FPS options, you have to sacrifice resolution. The Fantasy 3 is also future-proofed with 8K at 60 compatibility, a win for the Fantasy 3. The Fantasy 3's color sync works great with standard dynamic range on the PS5 and Dolby Vision on the Xbox. And although HDR is supported, there are issues with some colors when enabled on the PS5. In contrast, SDR, HDR and Dolby Vision work well on the Govee AI box without issue, a win for Govee AI. The Govee AI box was originally released for smaller monitors between 27 and 34 inches, but in just the last few days we've seen bigger TV-sized options become available. However, as the Fantasy 3 offers 4 more efficient options between 55 and a larger 90 inches, it's a win for the Fantasy 3. The Govee AI box has an AI feature which allows certain games and actions within to display the lights differently. For example, in Apex Legends, if you're reviving or using the syringe, a red to green light effect will show on the lights. And although it's limited to 8 specific games currently, it is a cool feature. As this is not yet available on the Fantasy 3, it's a win for Govee AI. The Govee Sync box has a color sync display on the front edge, which at first looks impressive but ends up being more of a distraction. In contrast, the Fantasy 3 Sync box is compact and easy to hide in a cabinet. It also has one additional HDMI port. The Fantasy 3 is brighter with 72 LEDs per meter as opposed to 60 on the Govee AI. The Govee's LED cable is so short that you need to leave it on the cabinet or stick it behind your TV, as opposed to the Fantasy 3's long cable, which makes it easy to run the LEDs down into the cabinet to connect to the sync box. A win for the Fantasy 3. The Lytmi Home app has some nice features like TV Sync, but it's still relatively limited compared to the Govee Home app, which comes packed with features including the ability to customize different color segments. The Fantasy 3's light bars do work with the sync box, but with Govee AI and DreamView, you can sync up to 10 additional Govee products, excluding the light bars. Govee AI also supports ALLM, CEC, and ARC, a win for Govee AI. The Lytmi Fantasy 3 kit retails between $199 and $269 USD, and the Govee AI kit retails between $239 and $259 USD. As the LED size ranges are different but similar in price, it's a point each. Overall, it's a tie, with each sync box making up for the other's shortcomings.
The Fantasy 3 is easy to install, with clips to keep the light strips hidden from view. The Lytmi Home app setup was also quick and easy to run through. A 4 here. The 4K at 120 and upscaled 8K at 60 is bright and immersive thanks to the 72 LEDs per meter. However, with HDR enabled, its colors are compromised on the PS5. It's also missing VRR, ALLM, CEC, and ARC support. A 3.5 here. The sync box supports HDMI 2.1 and is easy to switch between the connected devices. The app's features are limited, but it's well laid out, easy to use, and more features will come. Smart Assist works well, but is heavily reliant on Smart Life integration. A 4 here. The Fantasy 3 is good value at $199 to $269 USD, which is on par with the Govee AI box. But if you add extra light bars at $44 each, it can get pricey. A 3.5 here. The Lytmi Fantasy 3 goes a long way to addressing the shortcomings of the Govee AI's HDMI 2.0 tech. It's fast, the setup is simple, and overall, the experience is bright and immersive. However, compared to Govee AI's vibrant colors, app maturity, and ecosystem, the software is a little lacking. Let's hope they can fix these drawbacks in the near future to be the best TV sync box in every category.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate any feedback in the comments. Until next time.